Listen, for many entrepreneurs and driven individuals, self-doubt can be the biggest roadblock to your success. So whether you're just starting a business or taking it to the next level, a lack of confidence can be the roadblock that helps to deter you and keep you off track. So whether you're just starting a business or taking it to the next level, a lack of confidence can make you second guess your every move. In this episode, we're breaking down the 3-step process to help you build unshakable confidence even when it feels overwhelming or it feels uncertain. You'll learn how to break free from self-doubt, take bold action, and move forward with certainty despite not having all the answers. Let's go ahead and get to it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Success Spectrum Podcast. I'm your host, Kadeem McLean, and today we're going to help you to build that unshakable confidence that you may have been lacking, because I know at one point in my career, I was lacking it as well. Still, I could grow my confidence a little bit, but I've grown a lot, let's say, over the years, and I want to help you do the same. Right, so we got to talk about why entrepreneurship, or rather why confidence is so important to entrepreneurship. And in reality, there's so many missed opportunities that are directly related to your confidence or the lack thereof. So let's go ahead and dive into this, because confidence isn't just a matter of feeling good. There's a lot more to it than just, oh, I feel confident, I feel good. It directly impacts your decisions, the actions you take, your success, and the opportunities you accept or don't accept, right? And as an entrepreneur, your confidence, people can smell it. It's kind of like the salesperson example or story, I guess. And as a salesperson, if you're directly focused on making the sale, making money, the transaction, whoever you're sitting in front of, they can smell it. They know you don't necessarily want the best for them. You're just hungry for that paycheck. And oftentimes they'll go to somebody else. So you really got to care for them genuinely, and not necessarily worry about the finances per se. And one of my businesses, we have a saying, and it's the mission before the commission. Don't worry about the commission. Do the right thing for the customer, because you're going to get paid anyway. And it's similar here, because if you're not confident in your business, no one else will be confident in you or your business and what you have either. You got to be confident first and let that confidence exude from you, so that they can then feel it, sense it, and then they will also feel confident and have belief in you. We talked about some of the hidden costs already, or I mentioned it, which is the missed opportunities, the hesitation to taking risks, and the stagnation that comes from it. Because this you can feel stuck, feeling like you're working so hard, but still feel stuck because of this lack of confidence. And before we go fully into this episode, I want to ask you a question. If you are a new entrepreneur, I want to ask you, because I know at one point in my career, I kind of felt this way, but my question to you is, do you feel like an imposter? Do you feel like you are not equipped or qualified to do what it is you're doing, or become the person you're aiming to become and build the business you're aiming to build? Do you feel like an imposter? Wondering if you really have what it takes? The good news is you're not alone. Again, I told you I used to feel like that. There's a lot of people who feel like that. You're not alone. However, it takes time and action to build that confidence and break free from that cycle. If you've been following me for a while and this is not your first time listening to me, then you know I always start with mindset. Mindset is huge. And the reason I bring that up is because there's a mindset shift that needs to occur. Surprise. And there's a myth that goes along with that. The myth is you need to feel ready. You need to feel ready to take this action, to take this step, so that you can then feel confident. Newsflash. If you keep waiting, you'll be waiting forever. Confidence does not come from waiting. That is not how you build unshakable confidence. Confidence comes from doing instead of waiting to feel confident. You got to take action to build that confidence. It's not just a matter of sitting there waiting, oh, I want to feel confident, so I'm going to sit here and think on this thing, and then I'll take action. Again, you do that, you'll be waiting forever. Confidence is more like a skill or a muscle, not a trait. You're not born with it. It's something you build over time by taking action. And anybody can develop confidence through the right habits and a mindset shift. But some common mistakes that unfortunately people have or make here is they rely on external validation, which is, the social media likes, or the compliments from others, or the approval of others. Again, these things need to happen internally before the external world accepts it or gives it to you. And honestly, don't even worry about the external world giving it to you, because once you have that internally, you don't necessarily care. Not that you don't care, you still appreciate the compliments and so on, but it doesn't necessarily affect you or take you off kilter. The positive and the negative comments, they don't throw you off, because I know who I am. Not in an arrogant manner, but I'm confident in who I am. So your applause, thank you. That's where it stops. Don't let it go to your head. Or the negative compliments, or rather negative comments. Okay, is that real? No, it's not. Cool, move forward. So once you have that internally, you know how, you have a filter now. You can distinguish between what you need to take in and what you don't need to take in. But at the end of the day, your perspective is what matters. So the key takeaway for this part of the episode is to build confidence. Again, act despite fear. Don't wait for fear to disappear, because it's not going anywhere. The fear is going to be there. But confidence is built through taking action despite that fear. And that's where oftentimes you'll hear people are fearless. It's not that they're fearless, but they take action despite fear. They're not worried about the fear. They know it's going to be there. They still move forward. So our 3-step process. Number 1, identify and reframe your limiting belief. What is that limiting belief? What's holding you back? Do you think to yourself, I'm not good enough? Do you think to yourself, people will judge me? I don't know if I can do this well. What are you thinking to yourself? What is that limiting belief you have of yourself to say that's holding you back? Because 1, identify it. And then 2, of course, we'll talk about that in a moment. But once you identify it, we need to make sure we reframe it, right? So identify and reframe it. Because instead of saying I'm not good enough, you can now say I'm learning and growing every day. You could say I'm building confidence through action. Right? So practice that. Practice identifying what that limiting belief is and reframing it into something that's more beneficial for you. Reframe the limiting belief into an affirmation. Step 2 is to take small, bold actions daily. So this will help you to build confidence through consistency. Start with small wins, because let's say public speaking is something you want to do. You're not confident or comfortable with speaking publicly, but you know that you're called to, or you want to do that because your business requires it, or whatever reason. Just whatever is inside that comfort zone, step a little bit outside of it. Just a little bit outside that comfort zone, because that is where you grow. You don't grow in the comfort zone, you grow in the growth zone, which is just a step outside of that comfort zone. And when you step outside of it, it helps you to, again, grow in confidence, grow in self-esteem. And there's no growth that happens anywhere within that comfort zone. So you need to take that uncomfortable step, let's call it. I know it's uncomfortable, but in order to get that growth, in order to build that business, in order to have the impact you want to have, you got to take that step outside of the comfort zone. So again, if public speaking is something that you want to be able to do, and maybe it scares you, for example, maybe you have a job still. Ask a question in some of the meetings you attend for your job. Speak up, share progress, share updates, share feedback, right? Ask questions. It's as simple as that. Just start speaking up in these meetings, and that'll help you to build that confidence in speaking in front of people. It's a smaller group usually, but of course that can expand over time, because if you can do it in front of a small group, you can likely do it in front of a big group as well, or bigger group. Similarly, if it's not public speaking, maybe you want to, again, break your big goals down into something smaller. I always say break it down to the ridiculous. So this big goal of building a massive business, a successful business, instead of focusing on that, maybe that scares you, maybe you feel like you don't have the confidence to do that, focus on making the 1 sales call today. That's your focus. You have the goal, but the focus, the action plan is to make that 1 call today, and do that the next day again, do that the next day, because that helps you to build that confidence. And that's a step. Again, it's an RGA, revenue generating activity, but it's a step that helps you to move towards building that successful business. Because without those sales calls, you're not building a business. Without converting leads, you're not building a business. So take that step, focus on that. That's your focus, your action, as opposed to, I'm going to build a big business. Okay, but what's the step that you need to take? In this case, the step is that sales call. Why does this help? Why does this work? Because you're building your muscle. You're building your confidence muscle, your confidence skill. I told you it's not a trait, it's a muscle, something you build regularly. When you're in the gym, you need to work these muscles. You don't work it once every month. You don't work it once every 3 weeks. You work these muscles regularly, because that is what builds the muscle. Guess what you need to do when you're building muscles? You need to tear the muscle, right? Micro tears. And that's essentially you being in that growth zone. It's a micro tear. It hurts sometimes. It's painful. You feel sore. And that is because you are stepping into that growth zone. You are growing. So yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but you need to make that call, that sales call. You need to step out and speak up, ask a question in these meetings, because that is what's helping you become the person you need to be to build the business you want to build and have the impact you want to have. So for step 2, my challenge to you is to set 1 confidence building task each day and track your progress. Did you do it? Did you not do it? How many did you do? Did you do the amount you said you were going to do or not? If you set out to make 5 calls, how many of those 5 calls did you make today? Do better the next day. Do you have a child in your life who loves to color? A niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, a neighbor? Remember when we grew up, we did A for apple, B for banana, and so on? There's something new in town. It's going to change generations financially. It's called Money Magic, ABC. This is a financial coloring book. They get fun pictures to draw, to color in. But instead of A for apple, we got A for asset. We got B for budget. We got C for crowdfunding. This is going to, while they're enjoying themselves, teach them the financial terms that we didn't know growing up. The financial terms that some of us still don't know. Financial literacy is key and vital. And instead of learning A for apple, learning A for asset at such a young age, it's going to change their financial mindset into the future. They'll be able to start off ahead of the ball, right? Ahead of the game. So go ahead and get yourself a copy and give this gift. Give the gift of financial literacy to your children and the children in your life today. Go ahead and click that link in the description and get yourself a copy. Step 3 is to surround yourself with confidence builders. Your environment matters. Don't necessarily use your environment as an excuse, but yes, your environment does matter. Birds of a feather flock together. You're the average of the 5 people you hang around. There's a story about the egg, some coffee, and a potato, right? And a father put each of these into pots, right? He put a coffee in one pot, put a potato in one pot, and put an egg in another. And his daughter looks at them once they're all done being boiled, right? The father takes out the egg and shows it to the daughter. And the daughter says, "Why is this egg hard?" Well, because it was boiled. The environment made it hard, right? And then the potato became soft. The environment made the potato soft. And then the last one, the daughter looked at the pot of coffee. She's like, "Why is it all brown and whatnot?" Well, coffee changes the environment. It doesn't react to the environment. It changes the environment, right? And that is to say, be the one to change your environment. You are in control. Find people who are coffee in your life, who uplift you and bring you up, right? Whether you like coffee or not is not the point of the conversation. I don't like coffee personally, but the whole point of this is find people who uplift you. Find people who can change and add to your environment, not take away from it. Positive influences who encourage risk taking, right? Again, calculated risk from one of my previous episodes. They encourage that. They encourage learning. They encourage growing. Don't limit your interactions with people who want to keep you where you are and hold you back or even degrade you a little bit. And not everybody's trying to degrade you the way you think they are. Some people are saying these things out of love, but what I'm saying to you is limit your interactions with them once you make your intentions known. Telling me, listen, I'm growing. I'm aiming to become this. And I need to talk with people who are uplifting me and encouraging me. And if they still keep you or talk to you and have conversations that try to keep you where you are, limit your interactions with them. Still love them, but limit your interactions because you want to interact more with people who are building you up that coffee. Along with building a supportive network, what you can do is you can join communities, right? Entrepreneurial communities. You can join accountability groups. You can join online forums. I even have a Facebook community that I started recently, Entrepreneur Freedom Hub. I'll drop the link below. Feel free to send me a DM or ask me for the link actually for that, because I don't want to put it on and just anybody can join, but feel free to send me a DM or comment below Freedom Hub and I'll send you over the link so you can just check out that community and join us. Because we're looking for people to join us, growth-oriented people who can add to the community and get something from the community as well. What this allows you to do is to connect with somebody who has overcome a similar challenge and let their journey inspire you. They may have come from something similar that you've come from, whether it's a mentality or an environment or a situation or a specific circumstance. They can inspire you if you allow them to, because you have that connection that you didn't even know. But you don't know if you have that connection unless you go ahead and join one of these groups and you show yourself, right? You contribute, because you only get in what you put out. Rather, you only get back what you put out in these type of environments. To give you a few stories that kind of go along with this, Will Smith, right? While he was rapping, before he really started his acting career in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he owed about $2.8 million, I believe it was, to the IRS. Right? He had massive self-doubt. He was in a situation where he almost had to file bankruptcy. And he got offered the opportunity for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air role. Guess what he did? He, again, massive self-doubt. Despite that fear, as you know, he took on that role. He took on the role of being the Fresh Prince. And what did he do in that case? To help him overcome that self-doubt, he took small actions. Not only did he memorize his lines, but he memorized everybody else's lines as well. There are moments in the show where you see him mouthing the lines of the next person before his line. So again, meticulous, small actions can help you to build that confidence. Without him doing that, you wouldn't know Will Smith as the amazing actor that he is now. You would not have seen probably one of your favorite movies, right? You may have not seen that movie because Will Smith did not accept the call. He did not accept it. He let his self-doubt and lack of confidence hold him back. Who are you meant to inspire that may not hear from you because you're letting this lack of self-confidence, this self-doubt hold you back? I know it's not necessarily the point of this episode, but I felt it important to ask you, who are you meant to inspire, to lead, to rub shoulders with, that you are letting this self-doubt hold you back from reaching and inspiring? So again, Will Smith, he focused on small, consistent actions, which helped him to build momentum and become, again, the amazing actor that he is nowadays. I wrote a book for you, and it's called Wings of Abundance, your strategic guide to uplift and empower you to financial overflow. What this book talks about is, one thing I like to talk about is the financial map. There's 2 points on any map. One is where you are, and the next one is where you want to go. This book, this strategic guide, will help you to determine where you are and where you want to go, and will also help you to bridge the gap. We talk about money mindset. We talk about the application of all the information that you know about finances and all the information that's in this book for you. There's resources in the back of the book. There's bonus information in there. We talk about how to overcome debt, how to build wealth, generational wealth. There's so many different strategies in here that you can utilize for yourself to get you to where you want to be financially. So again, if this is something that sounds interesting to you or anybody you know, because it's written in a language that even teenagers could read it, go ahead and click that link in the description and get yourself a copy. Another story in alignment with that is one of my mentors in business, actually. She was an accountant before. She started this business with complete self-doubt. Everything she says was 10 feet above her head. She had no idea what she was doing. And however, she started the business and she just kept taking action regularly. Consistent action. The smallest action she could take, she was taking them, which led to her taking bigger action, which led to her building more confidence. Nowadays, she's an amazing leader in the business, and her family, her daughters can see her and do see her as an amazing role model, which she actually is. Because she didn't let that self-doubt hold her back. She's reaching towards her dreams and her goals. She didn't let the lack of self-confidence hold her back, but she built that confidence, and it grew through her learning and taking imperfect action. Because at the end of the day, we're not perfect beings. What makes us think we're going to take perfect action? There is no perfect action because it comes from us and we're imperfect beings. So she decided to take that action, which helped her to build the momentum and build an amazing business like she has today. So the key takeaway between these two stories is you don't need confidence to start. What we need to do is trick our minds, even if you need to taking action, because you gain confidence through action and through moving forward. You will not gain confidence by sitting there and thinking about it. It does not happen. No matter how good your strategy, no matter how good your plan, if you do not take action, you're going nowhere, you're growing nowhere, and your confidence is sitting still, or honestly, maybe even degrading. So some key takeaways for this episode. Confidence is not something that you have from the beginning. You build it through action. Stop waiting for the right moment. Take small, bold actions today to help you build that confidence, because again, you're missing out on opportunities. You're missing out on growth. You're missing out on the people you're meant to impact, and they're missing out on their life changing because they're waiting for you. So lastly, surround yourself with confidence builders, people who push you forward, push you up, and help you and inspire you to achieve your biggest goals, your biggest dreams. My challenge for you today is to drop in the comments one bold action you will take today to build your confidence. Share it with us, take action, build that confidence, and make sure you do it today. All right. Thank you for stopping by. Kadeem here. If this episode meant anything to you, if it helped you, inspired you, please share it out with somebody who you know will benefit from it, because there are some people out there who may not hear this episode unless you share it with them. That way they can be inspired. They can have a mindset shift. And again, Drop it in the comments if this episode was helpful for you, what you took from the episode, maybe a key point or something you'd like to hear in the next episode. All right, Kadeem here, and I'll see you in the next one.